Eureka soup. We're going to make some pho. Oh, I'm sorry. Pho. Okay, we're going to make some pho. You happy now? I'm going to call it pho. Why? Because I like it. Because you can make funnier words out of it. You can say mofo. You can say, we're going to make some mofo. Or 1, 2, 3, pho. So it's funnier. I'm going to belittle the name, and I'm going to use that. Pho is probably one of the most common and well-known dishes in Vietnamese cooking. In Vietnamese cooking, just to clarify, is probably one of the most complex cuisines there is. That and Indian, Thai, authentic Chinese, Asian and Indian are definitely the most complex as far as layers of flavors and spices and the seasonings and the techniques they use to build those flavors. People that say they aren't, hit the bricks because you don't know shit about food. In this case, pho is just... Did I just say pho? I did it. I said it correctly despite myself. Pho is usually used for breakfast. And although we tend to eat it as lunch, dinner, whatever, it's kind of the same as the Chinese would use a congee, which is a rice porridge, and they eat that for breakfast. So, you know, it's no big deal. It's kind of like getting up and eating a bowl of leftover soup for breakfast, only they do it on purpose. This is going to be 2 parts because I'm not going to have time to do it because although it's a very simple recipe and it requires virtually no involvement from you, it does take a while to simmer, so it doesn't require any physical labor, and it's very simple to put together. And the end result is really, really satisfying and really, really delicious. So, as I said, it's very thin soup, very intensely flavored, and the broth itself is a little bit gelatinous. You know, it does have some texture, very intensely beef flavored, and I'll show you the other seasonings in it that make it kind of unique. A traditional pho, I don't know, my personal favorite soup, if I go to a Vietnamese restaurant, is the bún bò Huế, and it's another big soup ball, very similar, but this comes from the old Vietnamese imperial capital called Hue, and the broth is a little bit thicker and richer. It has wider noodles in it, and it also has some shrimp paste in it and some lemongrass, and it's a little bit spicier, so it's a little different animal. But for this, I'm going to show you how to do just a quick traditional pho, and it's going to be good. And this is another example of the influence of the French in Vietnamese cooking. Now, the origin of pho is pretty, ambiguous. A lot of people think it came from a hybrid of French and Chinese, where the Chinese gave us the noodles that go in it, and the French gave us the broth, and even more so, they think it came from the French pot-au-feu, which is, for all intents and purposes, it uses the same techniques. It's just basically a boiled dinner. I'm going to go with that because, you know, as long as you know one good definition and origin and stick to it, who can prove you wrong? You know? And most of these origins of these things are passed down orally, so there's no written history of it. And so there. Let's get on with it. What are we going to do? Look at this. Pig's feet. Well, traditionally, it does not have pig's feet in it, but since we're using such a little amount of beef, we're going to use the pig's feet for gelatin. And this is a chunk of bottom round. Stewing, long cooking, simmering, braising cut. Oof, geez, excuse me. That's what happens when I get around pig's feet. Big, fat, funky marrow bone. Because what we're going to do, we're going to cook this in the broth, and then we're going to pull it out, we're going to scoop the marrow out, and we're going to serve it in our bowl of pho. So, what's the first thing we do? We do this. Go buy this stuff. $1. 97 cents, another $1. So that's less than $3 for the amount of stuff you need to do this. And you're going to get a big, shit pot of it. Onion. onion, we cut it in half. Ginger, cut it in half. And a head of garlic, cut it in half. Put it in a dry pan, high heat. What we did, we charred it. You see? It's a very important step, and it's probably the most difficult step there is to it. See how it turned black? Oh, this didn't really turn any color because it shrank and didn't have surface contact with the pan, but they'll add roasted ginger to it. So what they would do is take this and throw it in the oven and roast it. So let's get on with this. Into our pot, our onions, our garlic, our ginger. There you go. Our pig's feet, our chunk of bottom round, our marrow bone, jalapeno up in there. A nice, fairly thick slice of lime. Cinnamon stick. Now this right here is what gives pho its unique flavor. Star anise. Star anise. We're going to put two cloves in there. Okay? Traditional to a bumbahui, and sometimes they do put fish sauce in conventional phos. I'm going to do it because I have it. I'm sorry, pho. As in, fuck, man. It's going to be good. We're not going to put too much. You know, a couple tablespoons. Black pepper. Two things I don't have that should go in here. Go to the store right now and get them. I'm going to wait. Got them? Awesome. Coriander, which you would toast in a pan, and clove. Okay? As long as you have the star anise, that's going to really give it the flavor you're looking for. But those two things, they do go in it. And they, you can do it, fine. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Now, this is just boiling water. And I started to boil it because I'm going to get a head start on it. We're just going to put it in there. Oh, that's so hot. Hold on. Green onion. Salt. And something that they don't do, but I do, a little pinch of sugar. And one more thing. Again, this would not be traditional, but I figured I'm not traditional. And no, it's hard to believe, I'm not Vietnamese. I know I look Vietnamese, but I'm not. These are parsley stems. So we're going to use a little bit of the European technique of stock making, where we would throw in our parsley stems and stuff like that to make a nice stock and add flavor to it. Now, this is where I'm going to shut you off, because this has to simmer. It's going to come up to a boil. We're going to turn it down to a simmer. And as it's boiling, let me show you something. I'm telling you, sit down. Watch what I'm going to do. This is very important. What's going to happen is, as it's boiling, it's going to throw off the impurities from the meats and the vegetables and stuff like that. And even though they are clean, impurities are within the meats. Also, the proteins and stuff like that are going to release some of the impurities. Now it's going to form a foam or a, scum, dirty scum on top of it. You're going to skim that off, okay? Because that's going to make it keep your broth clear. You also don't want to bring this to a hard boil and let it keep going, because what happens is that the fats that come out of like the pig's feet and the marrow bone, there's not so much fat in the top round or bottom round, whatever round it is. It's round 2. What will happen is, as it's boiling, it's going to emulsify into the fats that have been released from the fatty ingredients, and it's going to kind of hold it in suspension and make your stock cloudy, or your broth cloudy. And that's what makes, if you ever try to make a really nice clear broth or a consomme and stuff like that, it is hard boiling that will 90% of the time be the cause of a cloudy stock. like I said, it's just smashing all the fat molecules and the liquid together and forming an emulsification. Not much of one, but enough to make it cloudy. So there you go. We're going to let this simmer, and I'll get back to you, and we'll show you how I'm going to plate it. And then we'll have some pho. This has to stop, man. I mean, I cannot deal with this. Why can't you just shut this goddamn thing off?